Hello, massage nerds. This is part 2 of the adductors. We're working on the adductors. And on part 1, I talked about the common injuries and the things to be aware of, like the femoral artery, if you feel a pulse. And I gave a little bit more explanation. That was the supine position. So make sure you check out part 1, okay? So we're focusing on the adductors. There's 5 adductors. So we're going to talk about the adductor magnus is the deepest one of all 5, and that's the largest. And the adductors lie between the hamstrings and the quads. So that you can remember them is there's 5 adductors, 4 quads, 3 hamstrings, or 3 hamstrings, 4 quads, 5 adductors. 3, 4, 5, or 5, 4, 3. So they're a little bit easier if you break them up and, separate them so that you don't get overwhelmed with learning so many muscles. But so the adductor magnus is the deepest one, and they all originate at the pubis symphysis, at the pubis, and insert on the linea aspera in different locations of the linea aspera of the femur. And the only one that crosses the knee is the gracilis. The gracilis crosses the knee and inserts at the pes anserinus, where you have 3 muscles that insert there. The gracilis, the sartorius, and the semitendinosus. So I'm gonna show you all the different techniques that you can use. When you have your client on the side, make sure their back is straight and make sure that the top leg is supported with a pillow. Okay, you don't want that this hip really being low. This pillow's kind of low because her leg should be about the same size as the pillow. So one of the things that you want to do first is beware that you don't get too close to where there's a pulse, and you want to do some long strokes, and you don't want to dig. You don't want to fatigue the muscles either. So let's start. One of the things that you can do to begin to warm up the muscle, hopefully you've already watched the supine position, you've already watched that. You want to start massaging above the knee. You never want to put pressure on the knee. If you're going to be working the gracilis, the insertion of the gracilis, you can do some friction. Just gentle friction here. You can do with 2 fingers here in circular motion, because this is a very tender area. There's also a bursa here. So you want to be careful with this insertion here of the gracilis, okay? So you've worked the gracilis now, and now you're going to start working above the knee. This is the adductor tubercle, which is the insertion of the adductor magnus. So you want to start above the knee. You can do the L shape and just brace your hand over it and go up. Just some long strokes to warm up the muscles from this area. So, and I've got my other hand just for support. You can put it this way, whatever feels comfortable. Another one that you can do is the ringing. You're ringing the muscles. I call this the ocean waves. Remember that the adductors are between the quads and the hamstrings. So after you've done some ringing, then you can do some grasping. This is actually an excellent way. Sideline position is an excellent way to grasp and lift the adductor magnus. And you're lifting the fibers. Remember that the fibers stick together. The fascia can stick like glue. And so you're trying to lift and separate the fibers. All I'm doing is just this gently. You can let go, or just lift and separate. Lift and separate from the quads and the hamstrings. Lift and separate. This is another one that you can do. You can also do with a forearm. Do with a forearm. And so these are some of the techniques that you can do, either supine or sideline. Now, if you want to engage, the quads and the hamstrings, and see, you can ask your client to go ahead and flex and extend while you're massaging. Okay, extend the leg, extend, and then flex, and you can do it for them. Flex and extend. Flex and extend. This will get some movement going. You can do flex and extend. But make sure you go above the knee. Remember that the adductors assist the hips. They assist the hips in hip flexion, and they keep you stable. They're hip stabilizers. So the adductors are very important when it comes to, movement of the hips. An anterior or exterior or lateral hip rotation or internal hip rotation. They're very important. Oh, let's don't forget the trigger points. The trigger points are on the adductor longus and the magnus. So let me see. Here we have the pectineus. Pectineus is just rectangular. Pectineus, adductor brevis, adductor longus, adductor magnus is the red one, the largest one, and then the gracilis. So there's 5 of them. There's 4 quads, 5 adductors, 3 hamstrings, or 3 hamstrings, 4 quads, 5 adductors. 3, 4, 5. Or 5, 4, 3. So that way it's easier to remember them. So now you can go back again and do some ringing, some lifting, some grasping. And once this area is warmed up, you can go to the trigger points. This is a good area to treat the trigger points. Trigger points are on the adductor longus and the magnus, but close to the groin here. You want to be careful to either do it over the sheet and ask your client, once you find it, make sure you stay off the artery, that you don't feel a pulse. So once you find a trigger point, she had a trigger point earlier. So let's say I'm working on the trigger point, I hold it up to, 90 seconds and she breathes through it. And once it starts going down in number or it's releasing, then you can remove your fingers. And again, you want to just do some strokes that will soothe the muscles. You can also do some friction like this. And for the adductors, you want to work above the knee. Only if you're working the gracilis, you have to be real careful. And like I said, one of the things that you can do is have them engage, by flexing. Or you can do it for them, flex and extend. Flex and extend. Because this way you can see the difference. When you're flexing and extending, she's engaging the quads and the hamstrings so you can feel, where you're working really the adductors here. So that's about it. This is a great way to get to the adductors. Don't forget that they help the hips. They help the hips stabilize. They help with posture and balance. So it's very important. And if your hips are really tight, like if your gluteus maximus is really tight, it can really put pressure. Then your adductors need to be strong too, or it's going to create an imbalance. Okay, so the adductor magnus creates an imbalance with the gluteus medius if they're off balance. So it's very important that you work the adductors and also the glutes. So hope this helps you, and until the next time, create a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and leave me comments. I reply to every single comment. Unless I miss it somehow, but I reply to your comments, so leave me comments and share the videos. Let's keep growing the channel, and I really appreciate you guys. Take care.